Doesn't have his flash. Quasti is quite low. But, oh man, that piercing shadow heal into the ulti. Okay. Things got a bit hairy down there. But Mega Inferno Bomb, not enough to kill off the Senna. Yeah, so that's twice Kakma getting a bit caught out when he doesn't have his support nearby, because his support is going for plays like this. There's a flashless mage in the mid lane. You know what I mean? Scatter buys him a lot of space, though, so he is able to stay alive. With all the time Chain User spent on the map, he is not level 6, did not have the depth charge. But now here comes FaZe with the Lance, and this time the support roam pays off as Chain User tries to hook on in, doesn't quite get the angle, as meanwhile there's a battle in the Grub Pit. Jason the other has the level advantage, and he's trying to use the Cyclone to take out Bumbo. Nightstone is in the area, but a Cyclone again gonna come on down. Jason evading the Crescent Guard, finds himself the solo kill. Kuromi's now gonna join up as Jason the other is burning down. Nightstone trying to finish the job. The flash is nice, but the ignite still ticks down. As another hook from Chain User, he has the heal. The Unleashed Power isn't going to do him in. And now Kuromi gets the hook shot in. It's all about the Camille for these first 10 minutes. Another hook in as FaZe is without much options. He is going to find the stun under the tower. Oh, but Kuromi still has enough HP to get out of that one. 6 of the 8 kills have gone to the Camille. She has an 11-minute Triforce. And this is the exact thing I think Kuromi envisioned when picking up his pocket pick in the Camille. Yeah, I mean, off of the grub take, Jason the other got all 3 grubs before we panned up there, and he was able to solo out Bumbo. And then even in the extended play, it's like, okay, yes, both supports are up here. But the Camille is really the X factor. Nightstone not able to contribute as much to these fights as he may like. He is able to complete that first item in the Dusk and Dawn. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Dragon start for Fortnite, as Jason the other is going to be pretty confident in his ability here. But meanwhile, bot lane Chain User hooks in. Quasti is going to be taken down to half HP, but they're going to look to turn it around onto Nautilus. Flash, Magnet Storm out into the Dawning Shadow. Everyone's trying to flash in for this one. They do kill off the Nautilus. Dragon is secured in the meantime. Okay, so Chain User, I feel like you don't really need to hook in when you're getting the advantage on the Dragon. And you haven't spotted the Shins out top or anything, but either way, it's going to be a play into mid now. Jason Heather has the Cyclone. Zero domain very low, trying to trade it with the ult, and he does! The last Dark Sphere is just enough. All the solo lanes getting a whole lot of attention. Neither team really just content with farming it out. Both of them throwing hooks one after another. And now Jason the other wants to maybe continue it with an invade here on to Bumbo. Meanwhile, this bot lane tower has gotten pretty low just because the Senna can't really push back during all these times where the Nautilus and Rel are gone from the lane. And so Kakma is actually getting very close to be able to satchel this up. And he should be able to do so. And Chain User can actually move in. Quasti underestimated the power of the satchel, but Chain User and Kakma think better of the situation and just decide, hey, we got the win, we got the tower. As now Needlework cancels Kuromi. Bumbo, oh, he can't find the win, becomes lightning. Nightstone still wants to go for the play. Second round, Needlework doesn't find the mark. Now Hextech Ultimatum used. Third round, and Needlework doesn't connect. Kuromi trying to slide back in, finds the solo kill, evades the W, and he's gonna be able to walk that one off. FaZe and Zero Domain trying to get up here for any kind of response. The scatter is there. Jason the other is gonna be in trouble now, and eventually should get taken down. It's unfortunate that the shutdown goes to the Rel, as now FaZe is going to face check into Chain User, who's not going to extend the play much anymore, but he is going to find, oh, he finds Kuromi. He's able to cancel the recall, Shattering Strike into the Magnet Storm. It's a big shutdown, and it goes to the Rel. on the E-auto. And now FaZe will pay for his crimes. Oh, dear. It's now going to be more action as they're looking for Chain User, the Nautilus. Without a flash, they full send it, but here comes the damage from the Ziggs. Bumbo gets taken out as Nightstar needs to retreat. Fortnite with full HP trying to play up with this Chaos Storm, but a beautiful two-man scatter converts the kill onto Chain User. And so, at the end of the day, you would feel pretty good as a Bumbo Aura farmer, but now Quasti has to try to get away from Fortnite here. Will do so. Is Kokma also staying alive? Feel much better about that play from Bumbo if... Oh, no. Quasti is going to actually have to heal up. Uses the barrier to survive against death right now. FaZe around the corner. Fortnite is able to flash and get the solo. And now it's just going to be another kill to the bloodthirsty Rel. You know, we're just going to do a quick check here. Holy cow. 1.5k gold lead for the Rel. It's crazy. That second item, that second, what do we build nowadays? It's not Redemption because it has AP on it now. Knight's Vow, maybe? As Hiromi is going to look to continue to press the advantage. Meanwhile, Jason the Other has his own advantage that he wants to get here as he steals away the Raptors and now continuing to play as the tower gets taken down by the Ziggs. Meanwhile, topside to Soul Lane's trying to kill off Hiromi, but he's able to hook shot to safety. Chain User, though, might not be so lucky. The Crashdown finds the stun into the Shattering Strike. And please, for the love of God, don't take this one. He doesn't. And Zero Domain now with 5 kills on his signature Syndrome. Yeah, Kuromi, still the main character thus far in this game. Draws both Zero Domain and FaZe up to that top side to try to stem the bleeding that has been happening in this top side. We already have 2 items on the Camille. This is when she really gets going in any matchup, and she can just stay in the side lane forever. Fortnite, meanwhile, does not have his flash. Shattering Strike is lined up into the Dawning Shadow. Magnet Storm actually gets a cancel on the Crashdown, so FaZe doesn't have that bit of CC. Ignite, drop, flash, Shattering Strike, and the stun should be enough to set up Nightstone for that kill. So some Summoners burned on the bot side, Dawning Shadow as well. As a trade onto Kuromi, they're just trying to bait him in because Bumbo is right there laying in wait. Jason's trying to make his way over, but there's the Unleashed Power, and now Zero Domain on a rampage. TP up to the top side from Kokma to make sure that this tower stays afloat. And as it's been all year, it is Zero Domain up to the task here for the Bumbo Aura farmers. This guy has been an absolute demon across DMV so far. He's been winning out basically every matchup except for one, which we don't talk about. But meanwhile, Fortnite getting aggressive in the bot side, but Nightstone is able to buy time. Both supports down here as well, as we're just not allowed to go into any sort of monologues. And Dragon is on the map, so they've moved everyone down here on the side of Bumbo Aura farmers. Hiromi is going to be lagging behind the play a bit after that death topside, but she and the Wukong are very strong. But there's a double scatter into the Crashdown. Magnet Storm on top. They blow up the Wukong. The Ziggs bomb isn't able to find as much on the backside as here comes Hextech Ultimatum to kill off Nightstorm. But Kuromi's in a rough spot. He's gonna die. Now they go forward. Ziggs cannot set up shop. He's slain. It is a double to Bumbo, as now Chain User needs to walk back, respect the Rel. And Dragon will be the reward for the Aura farmers. Great work by Bumbo Aura farmers, getting to the objective first, making sure they have all this vision pepper throughout the enemy jungle so that they know how they're going to approach. They get the 2-man scatter as they're trying to enter through the choke. FaZe pulls the trigger. And when they're all grouped up like that, Kuromi can get in, is able to kill off one guy. But that's not going to be enough to win the fight and get him out of harm's way. So it's now a modest gold lead for the side of BAF, though. Again, a lot of that is on the Rel, who's completed the Knight's Vow, which, to be fair, is pretty good in this game. You know, the enemy is going to try to dive onto your face a lot as a Camille, as a Wukong, as a Ziggs Kobe from, or Steph from way downtown. So Knight's Vow mitigating the damage is actually pretty useful. What's not useful Oh no, Fortnite should be fine up here. Jason the other and Shin's out for Bumbo are both on their way as well. The junglers are scrapping needles, have been used by Night's Dawn. They're going to slow up Jason, actually turn it onto the monkey. Ziggs ult over top, gets damage out, but Jason is able to flash away. Or how long can he survive? Not too long as Zero gets the proto belt into the ult. Fortnite, though, has a ton of damage himself to get that return kill. Now FaZe on the chase, riding forward, is going to find the Shattering Strike stun. Chain user is going to get damage down onto Quasti. And actually a fair bit of damage from the Ziggs over the wall, but not enough to be lethal. The chain user is dead yet again. Zero Domain, 9 kills already. Meanwhile, Kuromi getting busy in the side lanes is going to need some respect, but Zero Domain gets canceled on his recall. Fortnite trying to get in there with the flash. The last Dark Sphere isn't enough, and Fortnite finds a solo kill. FaZe is going to crash on down. The Rel with the Knight's Vow, the 2-item spike there for FaZe. Helps him get the return kill. But while all that was happening, Kuromi gets the bot inhibitor tower. And so we look at how this gold is getting distributed. The Camille is so far ahead, and just whenever she finds any individual member, she gets to do things like this. That's a major lead for the Camille, major lead for the Syndra. And even the Ziggs has been wrecking up shop with a lot of these towers. The Mana Mune, or the Muramana, excuse me, is not online yet for Quasti, so it's gonna be a while before some of these champs on the side of Bumbo or Farmers really get going. The Gwen is really not in a good spot right now. Xin Zhao's feeling all right, but would definitely like some more burst potential on this Syndra, on this, and more healing potential on this Senna. Roman gets canceled on the wall there. But yeah, as we prepare for this next dragon fight, I hope Jason the other doesn't interrupt me this time. As of now, it was an accident. I swear, and 5-0 potential are tied at 2 and 3. Try to get that 10th seed. It was an accident. Wants Fortnite and Chill Player 24 later today to get some wins so that they can get over 5-0 potential in the opponent strength score. They need just one win combined to tie up opponent strength score between both Chill Players and Fortnite. If they get 2 or more combined wins between those two teams, they will get that 10th seed. But now Night's Dawn is running into some issues down here in the bot lane. He can't even really contend with Fortnite. He's got no luck against multiple men, but Kuromi even is able to find a solo kill onto the all-powerful Zero Domain. Now has the X-Tech ultimatum to try to get his way away from this Xin Zhao. It is going to be traded out eventually as Bumbo gets that kill. So it's 2 kills across the map for Fortnite. Only 1 for Bumbo. Yeah. This Camille just so insanely strong. Had a maul up, so was fully aware that, like, hey, if I can get an angle onto the Syndra, she's not going to be able to burst me back. I mean, she was up against the Gwen for this lane. She was able to get the Merc Treads, has all this magic resist under her. Now 10 seconds away from this dragon. It's not going to be any real early soul considerations for either team. I feel like if either side is confident in their scaling, they can just kind of leave this one be. Zero Domain has his TP, as does Fortnite. So actually with FaZe moving up top, it looks like Bumbo or Farmers are going to concede this one. See if they can make a play around that top lane tower instead. Kuromi is going to face check, but with the adaptive shield, she's going to try to go straight on in. Takes a lot of damage. She's interrupted on the hook shot. Now Magnetorm, as Kuromi did not maybe anticipate every member in the book coming up here, but that does open up space for the Ziggs and the Fortnite Wrecking crew to get to business in the mid lane. Yeah, this could very easily be an inhibitor, but no, everyone gets back, so it is a tower for tower trade alongside Kuromi going down. We'll see if... No, Kakma is back in mid. So the Ziggs should comfortably clear out this wave. They're still trying to move forward, and Jason Yoder's going to look for an angle. Flash again. Quasty's in trouble. Needs to flash away. Gets him healing. Dawning Shadow Shield. And a nice interrupt with the Cyclone. Means that Jason the Other finds his target. Now Zero Domain has joined the fray, but Fortnite and the rest of the team want to push forward. They find the stun onto FaZe. Now Bumbo trying to go in, turn the fight around with a Crescent Guard. It's going to be a scatter hitting up multiple members, but no one is close to dead. Bumbo now trying to go in to turn this one around. He's able to get one with the enemy jungler, but now he's stuck in a 1v3. 3 for 1 in favor of Fortnite. It was a really nice job by Jason the Other to find that angle over the Raptor pit. Knows that, you know, they're maybe going to try to move forward to cheat out this tower. Rel positions a bit further away from her Senna. And even with all the summoners from Quasty, the healing, the Dawning Shadow, not able to survive up against this Wukong. We are going to see a lot of those 3-item spikes now come forward for both teams, right? We've got Black Cleaver available in the center, so that bit of help is going to help her survive and be a bit more difficult to take down in these fights. We have the all-powerful Rabadons for Zero Domain. Not quite there on Kalkma yet, but meanwhile, Fortnite actually opting for the defensive option of the Zhonyas. I feel like this kind of makes sense with how far ahead his top side is. Maybe he doesn't feel as reliant for damage as Kuromi. Now needs to find his way out of a 1v3. And it's not looking too good. He's going to get interrupted. Needlework out of the lane. Meanwhile, it is a lot of Baron vision going the way of Fortnite. But yeah, I mean, this is possibly an issue with the Ziggs comp, right? You can't really start with the Baron on your own purview here, as they're trying to just bait them in, see if they can land any of that Ziggs poke. With Zero Domain is there. They get the clone out from Jason the Other, and will be able to take vision back over this top side. So far, the mid-jungle swap for the side of Fortnite is paying off fairly well, right? You had a good early game from Jason the Other. Had a good angle for that mid fight, and then Fortnite has been solid up against what I think we would consensus say best mid laner in the tournament in Zero Domain. So it's been a solid showing on both ends, but will it be enough to get them the advantage here? Another dragon spawning in 40 seconds. Rabadon's complete on the Ziggs. Black Cleaver finished on the Wukong. And it's going to be BAF first to the objective. But the Ziggs poke is going to maybe let Red enter a bit here. Scuttle Crab going to be just grabbed away by Zero Domain. Pop that for all the extra vision. Bumbo not quite synced with the team. As Ziggs is trying to throw out all his spells, get out all his poke. Jungler's going to duel out on the side. As actually it's a catch on both top laners maybe, as Kuromi is down very low. Needs him up from the Ziggs, but he goes down. They pull the trigger on the all-powerful Camille. And now maybe it's time for BAF to just roll forward in this fight. Fortnite is able to go golden. Now Jason on the backline has a Cyclone onto Zero Domain. He kills off the Syndra. Fortnite flashing over the wall, able to stay alive as Bumble's trying to go one in and take out the mid laner. He is going to find it. It's chaos in the river as Jason the Other goes down. The Senna stays afloat this time and now finds the last embrace for a double. Nightstone is not able to kill off the Ziggs. It's low health bars for the side of BAF, but still a fight win. Now Kuromi getting caught out on the top side while Bumbo Not really catchable, given that he's got the Crescent Guard available at all times, so it's not full commit on the left side of the fight, but obviously getting the catch on the Camille, who had been so strong for most of this game. Now 9 deaths in. Doesn't feel as scary when she actually has to deal with the Rel CC, with the Syndra scatter buying space across all these fights. Through all of it, it was Dragon secured by Bumbo. So no soul point for either team 30 minutes in. It's 2 dragons apiece. And I believe they may have seen Bumbo on the bot side, so they're actually going to start this up. Kuromi diving in, wants zero domain, evades the scatter, and now the Syndra could be in trouble. Has the Zonias and the Dawning Shadow, so Kuromi's going to fall, but Chain User with a nice anchor, hits onto the Senna, Inferno Bomb, Satchel, they blow up the enemy AD, and now back to the Baron they go. It's at half HP and burning down fast. Bumbo is trying to get in range. FaZe looking to pave a path, but it is going to be Baron secured by the side of Fortnite. They will lose their Nautilus, and now here comes the Needles. Nightstone looking to make sure there's no one lasting on the side of Fortnite. It's a double over to 0. And so Baron is there for 2 members of Fortnite. I think the big thing is they don't have it on their Camille. They don't have it on the big side lane threat that they want for these Baron pushes. Can certainly still make a lot of money with the Ziggs, with the Satchel, if they can just be grouping up in the top side. As now TP play into mid lane, as maybe it's BAF that's overstayed their welcome. Kuromi's on the flank. Zero Domain doesn't find the combo onto Kokma, and now he's expended his Proto Belt. Here comes the flank. Kuromi flies on in. Has the ultimatum. Looking to issue it onto Zero Domain. They get the Syndra. The scatter stun, though, finds 2. And lets Nightstone get to work with the scissors. It's Chain User trying to find an anchor in, but Kokma now has to flash away. It's a triple. The Gwen that they kept down throughout the whole game is now finally sharpening her blades and gets herself a triple. Yeah, across all these fights, Zero Domain has been the main target. He has been the main carry that Fortnite is looking to assassinate. But he gets off enough damage. He gets enough spells through so that his Gwen and his Senna can finish the job. Nightstone playing that fight very nicely. Seeker's now available for both the Gwen and the Syndra, that they can buy time if the Camille ever decides to pull the trigger on them. Meanwhile, Senna, not quite the tower power of the Ziggs, but is going to be able to eventually get that one. Now trying to turn it around onto Kuromi, who wants this kill, needs another precision protocol. But they teleported Nightstone, they teleported Zero Domain. And the Camille, it started off so wonderful for Kuromi. It is now 12 deaths. Almost half of their team's deaths are accounted for in the top lane. As a scattered Kokma's in trouble. FaZe trying to roll on through, but he's interrupted by the depth charge. And now that Rel may have gone a bit too far forward. Kokma stays alive as Nightstone is trying to help his support on the front line. But that's going to be a big shutdown. Ziggs is getting the damage off as the Needles aren't enough just yet. Double Zonia's on the back line as Chain User is down very low. Bumbo now joining up with the rest of his team. But he has watched several of his teammates already fall. As the scatter finds its way onto the Ziggs, and Kokma cannot survive. Fortnite is still here to provide the wave clear and maybe provide the damage in the fight. As Bumbo is diving back in, Fortnite needs to put out the gravity while Jason the other is looking worse for wear. Flash 4 from Zero Domain, wants to seal the deal. He's going to trade 1 for 1 as now Kuromi's back into the play. It's an overextension if ever I've seen one from BAF. They try to go for the kill. They try to send in the flashes, but they are dismantled by the side of Fortnite. The GA will not get Bumbo any further to heaven. An ace in their base for Fortnite. So, all said and done, we are 35 minutes into this game. It is only a 2K goal difference between these two top teams. 3 dragons to 2. And probably a photo finish here at the end. Both teams have taken out a whole lot of structures, courtesy of the Ziggs, Camille, and a few Barons. But now it's time to set up for another view of the purple worm. And so it is Bumbo and the team moving through this top side, clearing out whatever vision they find. Meanwhile, Kuromi is in the mid lane, just slicing up the inhibitors. Nightstone is back to defend, and is actually going to force the fight here with the needles. Adaptive Shield is going to help Kuromi stave off the advance. And Hook Shadow away, but Nightstone actually willing to take the 1v1. Dawning Shadow over the top, and Nightstone gets his revenge. But meanwhile, on top side, Bumbo face plants into the wall. The Senna's not going to save him from this one, but meanwhile, Cockball needs to go golden as Zero Domain tries to burst him over the wall. Jason and the rest of the team eventually kill off the Xin Zhao. 5 seconds off from Baron. So we do see that, like, now that he's got 4 items here on the Gwen, now that Kuromi doesn't have a big advantage in the item department, Nightstone more than confident to take that 1v1 now in these side lanes. So did need some help from the Sentinel, but looked like he had it under control regardless. But the overextension on top side means that it is Fortnite with all the vision around the Baron. It is Fortnite. Now with serve over the river, and it is Quasti and the rest of the Aura farmers that have to enter into the fog. Nightstone is, they're looking for an angle. They get the damage out the Kokma, who's able to satchel away to relative safety. Nightstone still wants to go for a play, but Chain User is more than safe here. Bit of a waste on the Dawning Shadow. That will let the side of BAF move in to get these wards cleared out. You have to be careful as Camille is maybe looping around, so we do need to be careful of any approaches to the mid lane. But no, they're all going the safe way. Kuromi gonna go down to that bot lane inhibitor, but Nightstone is there once again to thwart him. And, you know, it's been a really nice recovery from Nightstone. But meanwhile, it's on the Baron for the side of Fortnite. They are spotted by the blue trinket, and Zero Domain just went back to base. So now the Baron is getting shredded down. Chain User is going to look to play defense. Bumbo is in the area. Hook is actually there onto the Rel. As Baron getting burned down considerably low. Chain user going to use the ulti. As now Bumbo's going to look for his angle into the pit. It's going to be a stun on the gravity well. And Baron secured by the Wukong. But now the fight is going to get started off as Bumbo goes in with the Crescent Guard. They find the kill in the Nautilus. But Chromie dives the backline. Looking for the Syndra. Beautiful Zhonya's. But the Ziggs bomb explodes across the backline. Now FaZe with the Magnet Storm trying to get the kill on Jason. The others using the Cyclone to try to get out alive. But Bumbo's hunting him down. The Baron may have belonged to Fortnite. But the fight is looking great for the Aura farmers. Quasty's now on the hunt, looking for this kill onto Jason, and should eventually get it, critting him down. There's the piercing shadow to end another chaotic fight, but it is 3-0. Again, only 2 members with Baron on the side of Fortnite. Jesus. Ocean Dragon's up too, and it's not going to be a soul for the side of Fortnite. They elected for the Baron play instead. I got a bit concerned when Chain User threw out the ult onto the Senna with Xin Zhao approaching from the other side, but Fortnite did a good job making sure that Bumbo did not get into the pit for any sort of steal, because then would have just been a disaster here for Fortnite. But 40 minutes in, we are we're not much closer to picking a victor in this one. TP is maybe a bit over aggressive from the Ziggs, but he has the Zhonya's. FaZe doesn't commit, and so they just get that stopwatch cooldown. All right, good thing from the side of BAF there. They press tab. They know that the stasis is available. They don't. If you send the Rel into that, that could get very messy very fast, where she just gets taken down immediately. Scatter's down, but Chromie knows that there's teammates here and can't really dive onto Zero Domain. Meanwhile, top side, I mean, this time it's Jason Yether looking for the flank into the mid lane. Jason is going to get the Cyclone. Zero Domain in trouble. And now here comes Camille over the backside. Zonya is going to be used by Zero Domain to try to stay alive as Quasty is putting out good damage on the Senna. Down into the GA. Goes to Camille. Bumbo buying time with the Crescent Guard on the outside. He's gone into his own GA as well. As now Nightstone looking for the kill. They get onto Chromie. The scatter lines up onto 2. As now Bumbo's going forward. Quasty trying to put out the damage. Fortnite flashing away. But here comes the crash down. And snipped apart by Nightstone. Kokma and Jason running for their lives. They're the only 2 left. The satchel to try to buy some space. Good damage onto Nightstone. He has the Shroud, but they just need to make sure that the Ziggs doesn't make it home. They just need to make sure that their team can take out the towers. Middle inhibitor is going to be taken down, and it's a chase all the way across the rift. Kokma and Jason, it looks like they are going to be able to walk, but will they be in time? They're going to throw out the Mega Inferno Bomb. Zero Domain in the sweet spot, but has some healing, and now the Nexus is exposed. Nightstone TP's in, and the Ziggs doesn't get back in time to defend his Nexus. It is a game 1 victory for Bumbo Aura Farmers. 42 minutes, 46 kills. And an absolute slobberknocker of a game number 1 between these top teams. It felt like Fortnite got what they wanted in that early game. It felt like they were getting the advantages for the Camille. They were playing around the top side, and Chromie was having himself a good game, but then as it wore on, just harder and harder for this Camille to find value in the team fights when able to match her in the side lanes. Great stuff from Nightstone, persevering through what was a very rough start of the game to make sure that it was Chromie with the rough end to the game there. And so Fortnite's little shift back to putting Jason the other in the jungle does not net them a win. We'll see if they're going to I mean, it's always a good option to have, right? If you feel like it's going to be all mages for Fortnite, that you have the versatility of, hey, the draft didn't quite fall a certain way. We're going to play bruisers with all the mages bot. Like, is much more likely, perhaps, that that is what we continue to see. Should be getting into game 2 very shortly here. It will be Fortnite staying on the red side. And overall, the results of that game is something that 5 with potential are quite happy about. They get to keep their slight lead in opponent strength score and would definitely prefer if Bumbo or a Farmers can close this one out in a 2-0. But Fortnite definitely made them work for it there in game number 1. We've seen Bumbo or a Farmers kind of roll over everyone thus far in the tournament, but this one they definitely had to sweat out a 40-minute banger of a game. We'll take a short break before getting in for game number 2. It's time for game number 2 to get underway here between the Bumbo Aura Farmers and Fortnite. It was a marathon of a game number 1 with the Aura Farmers staying undefeated in game score at the end of a very hectic first showing between these two top teams. A lot of the typical bans we expect. No Mbessa or Zahen for Hiromi, and then Diana taken away from Fortnite, one of his pet champions. Meanwhile, no Talon for Bumbo. He had like one very good game thus far this tournament, and teams are like, nope, never again. But actually, we're going to get some interesting bot lane priority, as it's going to be the Misfits duo of Tristana Leona picked up here by Fortnite. And so maybe saying like, hey, if you're going to pair this Jinx with an Enchanter, we're going to play aggressive throughout this lane and try to punish. We'll see what FaZe wants to take into it here. There are certainly fine pairings. I think if you're playing like a Seraphine or a Lulu, you can definitely get through this lane perfectly fine. But they're going to opt for a bit more forgiveness, I suppose, in that lane matchup with the Thresh, having the Flay to interrupt the Leona engage, and the Tristana W is quite nice. Lantern for safety for Jinx is not maybe as good as some of the other Enchanters, but does give her some good mobility to get out of harm's way. Now we'll see what the blind pick Cassio from Zero Domain. That's going to be an interesting one. Zero Domain has kind of played his selection of champions thus far, partially because Bumbo has not been forced into a game 3. This will be the first Cassio game we see from Zero this tournament. Immediate response from Fortnite is going to be that Hui. On the side of Fortnite, they have played Hui with Jason before. They've put Fortnite still on mages in that situation in an Echo, so doesn't really pin down how Fortnite wants their mid-jungle duo to go just off the Hui pick. But now for round 2, both sides going to try to figure out exactly what they do not want to see in the top lane. Fortnite are probably going to be blind picking a jungler here. And so just trying to take away good blinds from Nightstone, like the Renekton. Expect to see something like a Cho'Gath or Ornn banned away from Nightstone. Maybe the Aatrox is just like the more fighter champion that he's more comfortable on. If you're maybe not too concerned about the tanks when you have picks like the Tristana, like the Hui. It is actually going to be Vi banned away there. So Bumbo has done no Vi games thus far, but his 2 most played in Xin Zhao and Wukong are off the board. So does mean that can be some unexpected stuff that he pulls out as far as the AD bruisers go. That would fit very nicely. And it looks like Bumbo more concerned about the Lilia jungle than they are about the Echo. I think Lilia, with all their speed, is a bit tricky for Cassio. You can never quite line up the R. The Miasma is not as disruptive as you like. Echo also gets a good chunk of move speed, but does have an actual dash. Does have to put himself in melee range. I think Cassio would much prefer staring down an Echo than a Lilia, but even still, it is going to be a powerful pick for Fortnite that he has had some fantastic performances on thus far in DMV. And we'll see what the response from Bumbo is as they figure out the jungle and their blind pick top. I have to imagine that they're just wanting to play front-to-back team fight. And yep, Ornn, absolutely, for Nightstone, saying, okay, I don't care if Chromie's going to try to slam me in lane with some aggressive counter pick. We're going to have faith in the team fight. We're going to have the strong, uninterruptible engage of this Ornn. And the ornaments coming through as well. Jungle, you could certainly round it out with another tank, but I think it's very likely that we get something like a... not that. That there was a few things on the tip of my tongue. It was not that. It's gonna be the dog in the jungle for Bumbo Aura farmers. And yeah, I mean, Nasus obviously provides some good value and an immediate set from Kuromi. Okay, plenty of spice here for game number 2. The set, obviously, is going to have a very nice time early on into the Ornn. He's going to wear him down, Manaless champion with extra health regen. Ornn is just going to run out of his bars much faster than the set. He's going to be punching away at him throughout the lane. And then even in the late game, Set is just going to pick up Ornn and dunk him onto his own backline. Ornn can immune the Showstopper with his Bellows Breath, but the damage will still go through when Set lands. And it could be a lot of damage that is done when this Ornn gets his health items, because he's going to want to itemize... like, you can't just kind of itemize resistances like some champs would try to do. Just because there's a good damage profile. Stuff he needs to be conscious of in these fights. So, Tristana, Set. The Nasus jungle, very interesting. Obviously, the Wither is super strong. I think the big thing you look for on the Nasus is how do you get through that first clear? Because if you're allowed to full clear, like, you're chilling. You're absolutely chilling as the Nasus. So I'm curious to see if Fortnite is going to be able to maybe cause some disruptions, because Echo is also a champ that kind of wants to full clear. He's not going to be, like, super healthy throughout his first clear like some of the other champs. So curious to see what the pathing decisions are going to be here for the Nasus and for the Echo. What in the world? Okay, no, there. There's a random bar just in the spectator, but I think should be good. Oh yeah, the bar isn't back. Cool. So game number 2 now underway between Bumbo Aura farmers looking to close out the Swiss stage with a undefeated 10-0 record. Fortnite looking to battle back after a grueling game number 1, show that they can absolutely contend. And we're gonna have our eyes up here on the top lane to start. Romy, I expected an Ignite. I expected that this set was going to play fully for the lane. But meanwhile, bot side, it's going to be Cleanse forced out from Quasti, as now the Jinx and Thresh trying to fight back a little bit through this level 1. And it is Cleanse for both ADs, as Kakma also taking a rough brunt of some of these trades. And actually, Flash play, they have the level 2, but the Flash from Chain User had to be predicted. FaZe doesn't go for the flashy play, so it's just Flash for Flash. Both junglers are going to be pathing down to this lane, so we'll see if they can punish any of those flashless supports. As you can see, Kuromi throwing out 4 punches in quick succession up there, as he should be able to find a way to get this wave. But Nightstone actually, can't quite find the Searing Charge, and now has to flash away before the set pummels him down. The stuff from Chromie stepping up to evade the Searing Charge. And going to force the TP as Flay back onto Chain User. Is going to still get the Shield of Daybreak. Oh, the hook. Tried to Snake Eyes it for Kog'Maw, but nothing doing there. Quasti and FaZe we're not quite level 3 for that exchange. Both junglers down the bot side. The Echo is going to clean up his clear here. Well ahead of the Nasus, I'd imagine. And we'll see how much chaos they try to cause around this bot lane. Does look like Nasus accepts that he should just cross back to the top lane with how he's positioning. But Chain User now hooked back, flayed as well. And the Leona trying to get around the Flame Chompers, but is going to be rooted up. And first blood to the bot lane. Fortnite is trying to make his way down there, but thinks better of anything happening there. Meanwhile, Nightstone has level 4 to level 3. Is going to find Searing Charge into the wall. The set is trying to trade back here. Needs to flash, but the last autos from the caster minions means it is a solo kill for the Ornn. Now Quasti is under fire, flashing away from the parallel convergence as Fortnite and Kog'Maw trying to get in. Double flay from FaZe to keep his AD alive. It's absolute chaos to start here as... Oh. Okay. As Zero Domain, meanwhile, is going to get feared up in mid. Cassio can definitely play very aggressive and be a lane bully in some of these matchups, as the Hui just looks to even up and go even in this lane. And Chain User are actually going to stop their back. And maybe look for a play onto mid. They now know Thresh is working his way mid as well. So Chain User needs to think better of diving in for anything too hasty. Searing Charge from Nightstone. Gets a good trade in. So the Ornn has hung on fairly well throughout this lane, especially with that solo kill. As Nightstone, yeah, he's picking for the weak side matchup, but would definitely like to flip the script on what happened in game number 1 here. As he actually misses the Brittle proc. He's still going to have the Ornn Horn ready to redirect, but a nice face breaker, haymaker, and Chromie can't quite get the killing punch. It was nicely done with the face breakers. As a good step back from Jason to evade the petrifying gaze. And Zero Domain will take the lantern to evade the severing bolt. So quite a bit traded out from both sides, but nothing too problematic as Zero Domain actually going to just stand in fire now, popping the ghost. Just going to sink his fangs into Jason, the other, who thought he had the angle for a solo kill, but it gets turned right back on top. Now FaZe, the main target in the bot lane, doesn't find the death sentence, but is able to lantern in his jungler. It's going to be a dead Thresh, but what can Bumbo get back? It's going to be maybe a slideshow, as Bumbo now needs to walk away. It's a level 5 Nasus, guys. He's not going to be doing too much. He's basically a support right now. So nice play. I mean, the Echo is definitely going to be a bit more impactful in these even skirmishes at this point. But we have seen thus far the solo laners really step up for the side of Bumba or Farmers. That's kind of been the story of their season, right? Nightstone and Zero Domain being fantastic throughout the course of this tournament. The Zap forcing a flash from Chain User, meanwhile, as Fortnite started up the Dragon. I mean, Nightstone's performed even on the tank picks, right? Even on the Cho'Gath, even on the Ornn. He has been a difference maker for his team. And Zero Domain, he's in the MVP race for a reason, right? He has been exceptional thus far in the mid lane, both in lane and in team fights across all the mages he's been playing. Searing Charge actually doesn't find the knock up on the pillar. As meanwhile, FaZe is going to take a lot of damage out from this Echo. Hook in on top of the Hui to try to tax himself out to safety. Now Lantern in his Nasus. Fortnite couldn't find the damage and now is withered, trying to phase dive away. Is going to have to chrono break. Is still tagged by the Noxious Blast. So Zero Domain's Casio now getting off to the races. As meanwhile, topside, we're going to still have some punches traded out. FaZe now might be caught out here again. And this time, he does not have any help from his Nasus. So, a nice little pickup there for Kog'Maw's Tristana. Oh, Kuromi's looking for the angle on the Showstopper. Doesn't quite get it. But now Searing Charge flashing back, looking for the redirect. Both top lanes down super low, but Jason's even lower. The poison is going to wear down on him. But he does stay alive. Nightstone needs to try to get this wave in. But the Echo is up here. As meanwhile, oh, a beautiful shot from Quasti. Fortnite is going to flash in to get this kill onto the Ornn. But really nice super mega death rocket out as now Hook in onto Chain User as they're getting this Leona quite low, but Thresh taking a lot of damage back as well. And so with that, we're now seeing Zero Domain absolutely open up a big advantage here as Hook is going to go out, but Kog'Maw just going to jump forward, uses the Buster Shot. And neither side able to get much there. But yeah, I mean, Zero Domain building himself a nice lead here off of some of these kills on the Casio. Is now summonerless. So we'll see if there's any plays to be made around this mid lane as a counterpunch for Fortnite. But we do already have the first item completed on the Jinx. Zero Domain is just going to continue keeping up the pressure. Flash away from Jason. But is he baiting? He will die. But Fortnite, can he get the return kill? No parallel convergence. Stun. And Zero Domain is now just trying to turn his attention onto the enemy jungler. Send whoever you want to the mid lane. It will stay as Zero's domain unless you get Chain User's heal to be able to get that. Now another Super Mega Death Rocket is on its way. It may have been blocked by Kog'Maw, as there is no alert this time around. Oh, nice little face breaker from Kuromi. Able to keep him on the center line of the W. But yeah, I mean, all this action that's been happening across the map, and you see like first items are through on the Ornn and Jinx of all champs. As Bumbo actually just gonna go for Kuromi here, using the Guardian of the Sands. And, I mean, Kuromi is going to get a good damage off with a face break, but now he's out of luck. He's going to evade the Ornn Horn with the Showstopper, but Nightstone's still hot on his trail. Another Brittle proc doesn't do him in. A final auto from Nightstone, who brings down the hammer. And this game feels like it is much more convincingly going the way of Bumbo early on. The Nasus, yeah, he's not on his item, but he has not been disrupted in his full clears at all. He's been getting through his weaker part of the game, and it's much easier to do that when your mid laner is continuing to put out pressure like this. Meanwhile, Kog'Maw and Chain User, they pick this aggressive bottom lane in Tristana Leona. Now Solar Flare doesn't quite find the mark, but they're flashing in. The cleanse flash used by Quasti as the Flay wasn't used to interrupt. As now FaZe is going to be the main target. They get the summoners despite whiffing on the Solar Flare. May need to get the sun checked out after that one. As Fortnite is still in the area, but now Bumbo is as well. Hook is used by FaZe. He hits level 6, but now here comes a dive in onto Quasti. Nice play to buy some space. As now here's the box. Fortnite needs to chrono break for some health, but Chain User's in trouble. The cane comes down from Bumbo to trade out 1-for-1. And now Fortnite needs to use some Z Drive to get himself away from the Casio, but the play is not over as they're trying to push this wave in. Jason the Other is looking to walk down and help out his bot lane, but is he going to be too late? Zero Domain is taking up a few tower shots to let his Jinx fire away. Petrifying Gaze. Now Fortnite in trouble. Oh, last bit of fish bones isn't enough, and Jason is able to show up on the scene, but it's an execute for the Casio. Jason trying to use the river move speed to get a kill here onto the Jinx. Now topside, Kuromi could be in trouble. Face breaker doesn't matter. He doesn't need the ram. He doesn't need the Forge God, because he himself is putting in some divine work here on the Ornn. His Nightstone. Now Chain User needs to get away. A nice hook out of FaZe. Means Bumbo is in and ready to lay down the cane. As I mean, it is a 3K gold lead for the side of Bumbo Aura Farmers. Feels like we never saw either team get this far ahead until like the 30-minute mark in game number 1. There's a lot of places where things just maybe aren't going the way that Fortnite anticipated, right? They had their counter pick into the Casio, which is sitting at 1-4. They had their counter pick into the set, which is sitting at 0-3. Or sorry, they had the counter pick into the Ornn of the set that's sitting at 0-3. And Nightstone isn't even like surviving due to getting much help up there. It's been on his own. But now it's going to be the Dragon started up by Fortnite. They have first item on the Jinx and their Echo. And with their set also cheating down and no TP on Nightstone, this should be a give. An attempt at a super mega death rocket steal is not meant to be. And Chromie doesn't feel too bad about missing some minions, giving us some plates to an Ornn to allow his team to lock up that second dragon. As more scrapping in topside, Chromie is down 2 levels to this Ornn. He's going to pick him up and slam him into the wave. But now the Forge God is going to strike. And another solo kill for the Assassin Warlock Ornn. As it's a fight in the bot side, Fortnite has the parallel convergence stun to try to get away. He's going to flash out. Bumbo now lantern forward, looking for a wither, looking for a target. Doesn't quite get one. And so Jason now trying to find the Feared Zero Domain. Playing up in the face of 3, but now here comes the jump in. Kokma has the cleanse. Zero Domain trying to stick in it. Turns onto the Tristana. The Twin Fang damage is enough, and Zero Domain is able to come out on top in the 1v3, and now he's got reinforcement from his team. Another hook, this time not going to line up. Oh, and TP in from Nightstone. He's not done with this set. He's been playing bully ball all day, and Nightstone is looking to continue to do so here with some help from Quasty, and an attempted flashy play from Chromie goes nowhere. 0-5-0 on this set. 2 items complete on the Ornn. FaZe is going to interrupt the recall of Chain User and see if he can get Zero Domain involved here, but Kokma is back. Yeah, Nightstone actually may need to respect the Echo, given that he's got no MR, but oh dear. He's going to turn it back. He's got Bumbo. He's got the Ornn Horn. Fortnite going to Chrono Break back, gets the 2-man stun with the Parallel Convergence, now has some help from Jason the other. The top side for the Bumbo Aura Farmers may have been a bit too full of themselves. They're going to give up the Nasus here. Good shutdown for Kokma, but the payout is on the top side of the map. Zero Domain's Casio being left alone up there. Jason does have TP. He wanted to get there with any sort of haste, but Casio not going to be able to take in the tower just yet. And Nightstone is continuing to hold his ground here, but he's going to get visited by plenty of members here from the enemy team. As the Brittle's Breath, Lantern assistance, flashing away from the true damage. Chromie's hooked back under the tower, taken out, and now the box is slowing the retreat. Fortnite is down low, and TP is going to be expended by Jason. They're going to re-engage with Chain User, but Zero Domain's here as well. The Super Mega Death Rocket may fly by the way, but Chain User is actually staying alive. Zero Domain, we need another spell there. Is able to now go dominating on the Casio. And meanwhile, Bumbo just taking it easy. Just taking it easy on the Herald. Quasty taking it easy just taking the mid lane tower, doing some good, worthwhile PvE, because the PvP that Fortnite has been attempting is not panning out. It's now almost 5k in the lead for the side of the Bumbo Ore Farmers. Big 2-item spikes across the board for them on the Jinx, on the Cassio. Does feel like this dragon fight is not one that Fortnite should take. They don't have their jungler on this side. They are absolutely not playing for it, right? We're absolutely not going into Molten Infinity Edge Jinx here, right? Right? Okwasti gets hit up by the Maw from Jason the other, as Kuromi is actually in the top side, trying to push away. Teleport is almost up for the set. But yeah, I mean, it's just so difficult for them to enter. FaZe is kind of alone in the mid lane, and Kuromi is going to try to run at him. That sentence doesn't find its mark, and now maybe the tower is a bait here, as the Herald is going to get summoned up by Bumbo. Jason is slowed up by that Rylai's, and now Nasus is going to try to ride this Herald into battle. Horn going to be used, and now this could be the death knell. Beautiful flash hook onto Jason's way, and he's eviscerated. Now Kuromi slowed up as the Battle Herald rolls through the fight. It's going to be a haymaker to do not much of anything. Kokma cannot contend with the Nasus. It is a slaughter across the board. 20 kills to 7. And Bumbo Aura Farmer showing that they are no doubt the #1 team at DMV. Herald able to contribute to the fight, able to contribute to one tower, and now a second tower. As Zero Domain may have overstayed his welcome, has to flash away, has no mana. Fortnite does not elect to chase him too hard, but now they're going to maybe look. Dark Passage is there. Fortnite now needs to get away with that Chrono Break. And now things really starting to slip away for the side of Fortnite. See if we can get an angle here. Chain User locks up Nightstone, and there's not a whole bunch of help, but the Dark Passage is clutch. Kuromi's going to try to scale up. Fortnite and Jason, they're going to try to scale up, but it is very grim at this point. It is a full item disparity in the bot lane. It is a full item disparity in the mid lane. Yeah, you can say like, okay, well, when the Ornn had the lead, what was the Ornn really going to do with it? Well, he got everyone else a good lead as well. He's given them 1k worth of gold on those enchanted items. Zero Domain even building himself a freaking Chovy belt on Cassio. Yeah, I mean, like, we've seen Fortnite succeed all year with these double mage setups. Didn't matter that the enemy could itemize more magic. Didn't matter that they would get the tier 3 magic resist boots. As okay, that's not what Jason the other wanted to do with that one. Now Kokmog trying to get aggressive. Bumbo though just walking forward, setting up plays, and there's a reset for Quasti. Now flash away from the set, who's trying to get the kill on the Jinx, isn't able to find it. Redirect on the Horn, finds a knock on the Jason, and another hook, another kill goes over to the dog. They're trying to pull the trigger, they're trying to find any stragglers, but no one but the Thresh dies on the side of Bumbo. Baron is up. They have a Cassio that can machine gun this thing down. No Spiraling Despair available for Jason the other. As Zero even able to get very healthy off the honey fruit. As have we been slideshowing? You might be slideshowing. Meanwhile, Chromie trying to TP in and try to make another play happen right where the last play went poorly. That's going to be a haymaker and a nice shutdown onto the Nasus. Questy looking for that reset now, but Fortnite is able to corner break away. Zero able to find the kill. And now here comes the damage out of Fishbones and out of Questy. Jason the other is able to stay alive. They kill off Cassie on the other side. No look doubleheader. Gets the kill there with the Jinx ultimate. And it's eventually just, you know, you take out a Zero Domain, but there is another carry that needs to be accounted for. And it is just Kawkmaw left to defend the base. We talk so much about Zero Domain and Nightstone with this #1 team, but Questy and FaZe doing a great job down the bot lane as well to build up this lead. And this Jinx is absolutely a threat in this game. Maybe more important than Zero Domain's Cassio. Fortnite is going to look for some stragglers, but can't quite get any of them. Mountain Dragon is available. Should be very easily taken by Zero Domain and Bumbo. He's now going to Proto Belt back. Gets the Rylai's slow. And here comes the Ornhorn. Jason's in trouble. Flash hook immediately. Pulling Jason into the grave. Blue buff, the cherry on top. As now without their way, without their main wave clear, they need to stave off this Baron push. Chain user just getting peppered down. Auto after auto. Rocket after rocket. And Questy goes godlike. And now there's only 3 members to defend. 1 Nexus tower is going to fall. The second soon to follow. The cleanse from Kawkmaw. He has to do something miraculous. But he doesn't stand a chance against the petrifying gaze. Against the best team in Swiss stage. 10-0 for Bumbo Aura Farmers to round out an undefeated Swiss stage. In this game, there is no doubt. Game 1, back and forth. Fortnite was pushing to the limit there in a 40-minute game. This time, clean as you like, start to finish. Bumbo Aura Farmers making sure there is no room for argument of who the favorite is going into playoffs. There's a bit of history to remember. Last DMV, we had a team go undefeated 12-0 in Swiss stage. Didn't end well in the semifinals for them. We'll see if Bumbo Aura Farmers can make that any different. The good news here is going to be for 5 with potential. Fortnite not picking up a win in like a game win at all. Very, very good for the side of 5 with potential. They are still not locked for that 10th spot in playoffs. Their fate will rest in the hands of Chill players later today. If Chill players are able to take a game off of Pest Control, then it was an accident and 5 with potential will be tied in opponent's score. If Chill players are able to get 2 wins on Pest Control, that means that it was an accident will make playoffs. If they get 0 wins, 5 with potential will make playoffs. If they get 1, we go to the weird tiebreakers, and we'll see what happens. But for now, 5 with potential, very much still in the mix for playoffs. Just needs 1 more match to break their way. But that will do it for us today. Wishing you a good night, and last chance qualifier right around the corner as we look to see who those 4 teams will be.